To launch an AI agent that's trustworthy and reliable, it's important to test it thoroughly. Agentforce Testing Center is the no-code and pro-code evaluation tool that you can use to batch test large numbers of scenarios before deploying your agent to production. In this video, we explore the no-code batch testing workflow. Let's start by going to Testing Center in Salesforce Setup. Before we run any tests, there are 3 things to keep in mind. First, Testing Center is enabled by default in all sandbox organizations where Agentforce is available. Second, running tests consumes credits and requests. And third, the process of testing agents can modify your CRM data. To avoid issues, use the Testing Center in your sandbox, not your production environment. To create a test, we click New Test. We enter a test name and select the agent that we want to test. In this example, we're testing the Agentforce Service Agent, which answers general customer questions about product information, troubleshooting, orders, returns, and warranties. Then you can optionally add a description for the test. You can specify the type of test that you're running or a specific change that you made to the agent's topics, actions, or instructions. After we click Next, we can choose to test specific conditions for our agent by including context variables. A context variable in Agentforce, which is mapped to an object field, stores information about a user conversation, such as the customer's name, account number, or whether they've been authenticated. If we click Include Context Variables, we see a list of the enabled context variables for the selected agent. We can test by using all or only specific context variables. To keep things simple for our first test, let's omit the test conditions. Then we click Next to provide the test data. Here you can upload your own test cases or let AI whip some up for you. We recommend using AI first to quickly generate some test cases, then you can download, review, and refine them before uploading them to a new test. To see how that process works, we click Generate Test Cases. First, we specify how many test cases to generate. For this test, let's enter 10 because it's always better to start with a smaller test suite and then iterate after analyzing the test cases. Next, we can optionally guide the AI model by providing a description of the test cases and a couple examples for scenarios, like red team or adversarial testing. We can also select the topics for our test cases. Because we're taking an iterative approach to testing, let's just select the Support FAQ topic. Then we click Next to choose the evaluations that we want to perform for this test. It's critical to evaluate the accuracy of the agent's response by checking the topics, actions, and outcome. We can also evaluate the quality and latency of the agent's response. Because we're generating test cases without running a test, let's just use the default evaluations for the expected topic, actions, and response. To start the job, we click Generate Test Cases. Immediately, we see a message letting us know that the test cases are being created. If you don't want to wait, you can leave the page and then return to the Testing Center later, select the test, and review the generated test cases. Let's go ahead and refresh the page to see if the test cases are ready. And there they are. Now you have 2 options. If you're happy with the test cases, you can run the test. But it's more likely that you'll want to override or fine-tune some of the test cases, so let's click Download Test Cases. After saving the CSV file, we can open it in a spreadsheet editor and review the test cases. Each test includes 4 main columns: utterance, expected topic, expected actions, and expected response. Utterance is the end user's request or question. For example, what's the warranty for the CGM 3000? The expected topic is the API name of the topic that you expect the agent to select after it analyzes the user's utterance. The expected actions are the API names of the agent actions that the agent should launch to complete the user's request. And the expected response describes in plain English what you expect the agent's response to be. Okay. That covers the default evaluations for each test. You can see how using AI to generate test cases gives us a great head start with the testing process. Keep in mind that if you included context variables in your test, then you'll also see a column in the spreadsheet for each context variable that you selected. Make sure that you define the variable for each test row when entering your test cases. After reviewing and refining all the AI-generated test cases, we can save the file and return to the testing center. This time, we want to manually upload our CSV file with the refined test cases, so we click New Test. We enter the test name and select the same agent as before. Then we click Next, and because we're not including any context variables, we click Next again. Now we can provide the test data. The Upload Test Cases toggle is already active, so we click Upload File, and then select the CSV file with our test cases. When the upload is complete, we click Done. If you want to manually create your test cases without using AI first to generate them, click the template link to download the testing template CSV file. Now we click Next to choose the evaluations that we want to perform for this test. We evaluate the accuracy of the agent's response by checking the topic, actions, and outcome. And this time, we'll also evaluate the quality and latency of the agent's response. So we select completeness, coherence, conciseness, and latency. Then we click Save and Run to start the job. And the test is in progress. It usually takes 5 to 6 seconds to complete each test case, so our test suite with 10 test cases finishes running in about 1 minute. We can refresh the results to see the progress. Testing is asynchronous, so you can run multiple jobs at once. When the test is complete, we can see an overview at the top of the page that shows the status and duration of the test, as well as the success rates of the topics, actions, and responses. If we scroll down, we can view the detailed results for each test case. For each test case that fails, inspect that row and analyze the difference between the expected and actual results. If you included any of the additional evaluations, review the completeness, coherence, conciseness, and latency of the AI agent's response. To troubleshoot a failed utterance, click the down arrow at the end of the test row and then select View Event Logs to view information about that particular interaction. To investigate further, you can troubleshoot the utterance in Agentforce Builder. After making any necessary adjustments to the instructions, topics, or actions for your agent, you can always return to the testing center and rerun the test. The testing center helps you feel confident about deploying smart, reliable AI agents to your production environment. To learn more, search for Agentforce Testing Center in Salesforce Help.